The Speedway Corridor mural project is a chance to beautify a section of Tucson that gets very little beauty normally. This project brings 6 new murals into that space, but it also brings poetry. It was developed by Allison Miller of Alley Cat Murals with a vision to figure out what it would take to beautify these 6 walls on the Speedway Corridor, and reached out to the Poetry Center thinking that one of them might be about a poem or a poet. And the muralists decided that they all wanted to work with poems and with poets.
My role was to take a poem from the UA Poetry Center and illustrate it. So I painted a mural based on a poem.
What does it look like to translate a poem into imagine it visually, but also what it means to bring art into public spaces, not just in museums, not just poetry in rare book rooms.
It's almost a surprise, you know, when you're walking on the sidewalk and then all of a sudden just get hit with this beautiful color, and I think it's vital to the human experience.
First time I actually met Jody is when she came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna do a mural of one of your poems." And that gave me a real pause. It was the first I had heard of it. You know, I said, "Oh, that sounds very interesting. Let's take a look at that." Once you release work into the world, it takes on its own life and begins to move in its own ways. And at that point, the work belongs to everyone.
And it can teach us something about someone else's experience in the world. What has happened has been this really great gift of how something goes from language to a sort of visual component. All the artists are local, and they're all really aesthetically different. We're west of Campbell Avenue, and we're east of Park Avenue. We start at the Poetry Center, which is a great place to park. Parking is free after 5 and on weekends, and there's a water fountain here to fill up your water bottle on the way. T.C. Tolbert was able to come and paint a little bit with Monique Laraway. Brenda Hillman lives in California. Her work as a sort of Tucson-centric and Tucson-raised poet. And then Leslie Marmon-Silko's work, reinterpreting the mural that she painted. Such a beautiful way of bringing that mural in a way back to life. And Jenna Tomasello's work has been just truly tremendous in that regard. Marcus Williams' lyrics are used in the mural that Alex Fass has painted. Marcus is a hip-hop artist here in Tucson. Connections between poetry and hip-hop are profound, exciting, continuing to develop. Allison's mural takes a Madison June haiku as its source. You know, how do you make a haiku into an 80-foot-long mural? It thinks of bicycles, a revolutionary road, and the becoming wings. You can see this sort of cyclist on a path, but then the edges of the mural have an almost wing-like shape and almost a sense of sort of taking flight. In Jody's piece, you obviously have the belt buckle that is a very Southwestern style. And in place of where the hands might be of like a giant shiny gun, you have these flowers of the desert. What this landscape can produce, its beauty and its majesty, this is what these hands have to offer you.
The Poetry Center gave us a collection of poems, and this one was called Reckon. I was like, that's my poem.
What's your version of events? Was I foolish gold, thinking I could get away?
Logan Phillips is a tremendous Tucson poet, an incredible community member. Reckon deals with themes that animate a lot of Logan's interests, of what the desert teaches, the embedded histories in that landscape.
As a work, is really a work of memoir, examining the myths that I was raised on. It ended up winning a 2021 Academy of American Poets Prize.
It's about Tombstone, the poet's reflection of growing up in Tombstone, and it's kind of a different spin on a traditional tourism, you know, pro-Western thing. It's a little more like, what is the meaning of this? The poet compares himself to bird of paradise and ocotillo blossoms and huckleberry. My dad had given me a belt buckle that had this beautiful filigree that was my grandfather's. And I was like, that would be a cool mural there. Okay, we could have this hand-tooled belt with some of the filigree elements of the toy horse. Everything that Wild West seems so masculine. I kind of wanted to challenge that a little bit and have this Western woman with high noon stance with flowers just coming out of the holsters. And I wanted her to be tough and have the barbed wire tattoos of strength, and the bird cage on the other hand with the hawk flying out, escaping.
You see and feel these things in tangible ways in his poems. And I think what Jody has done is sort of help bring that forward really powerfully in a visual way in the mural. I think of the famous headline from the 70s that Speedway is one of the ugliest roads in America.
And why was it the ugliest street in America? It was because the visual landscape was dominated by commercial interests. To this day, that continues to be the case. But when we think about our visual sphere, what we interact with every day, we are interacting with advertisements, the commercial world.
It's exciting to think about what does it take to change that narrative. And we know that an artist has spent time to make something beautiful for you that's based on the work that a poet made that you found your way to as well.
I look out to Tucson today and I see a skyline that has greatly changed. I think it is more important than ever to think about what kind of a city we do want to be, right? We have to remember that a cultural life of a place creates the conditions in which abundance flows.
When you create that kind of calculus, I think you change the dynamics around what art can be about and who it's for. It teaches us, I think, that we belong to it and it belongs to us.
I hope to just inspire people, create beauty, take from that and walk away the rest of the day and maybe have a smile on your face.
I think when we encounter art in the world, it gives us a chance to pause and have a brief moment with ourselves and with a different connection to the world around us.
The murals in their greatest incarnation are an invitation to imagine a whole other world, a portal to another place. It's been a real richness for us to have these 6 invitations into visuality, and I hope that we can do more of it.
Hi, I'm Tom McNamara, host of Arizona Illustrated. Thank you for watching this story from our show. And for more local content from Arizona Illustrated, just click right here.